Hey y'all, it's Mark from the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast. We record live on Twitch every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We share that here on YouTube and on your favorite podcast apps. That's tccpodcast.com for more information and links to our social media and our Discord. Please take a moment, like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications for more DFFOO content like this. Today I'm sharing my DFFOO GL tier list for July 2021. I go through all the characters coming out this month and prioritize 2 of them for you to use gems on, 2 for you to use tickets on, some you may want to consider depending on your polls, and those you can safely skip going in the trash bin. Not that they're bad, but that you can safely skip them. Remember, always pull for your favorites and always pull for roster needs. Feel free to share your plans in the comments below or ask any questions you may have. Remember, we have a weekly podcast. We go into all of our characters and our events each week, so check back for more in-depth conversation. Let's get to it! We start the month with a chapter event bringing back Eldnarsh, the Child of Terror, with nothing new besides his burst weapon because he got an early GLLD board rework. All the little man get is his BT. His burst effect adds some longevity to his debuffs and boosts the party based on total number of debuffs. Eld still plays pretty much the same, relying on turn manipulation and his strong terror debuff to shut bosses down. If he wasn't 2-week synergy, I would say skip and don't look back, but because of his 2-week synergy status, I think you might want to throw some tickets his way. So we're going to put him in the ticket tier. He also comes with Null on the other banner connected to the story event. Null gets a level 80 and an LD weapon. Null's a dual element damage dealer with several ways to inflict or cancel the break status on enemies. At this point, he is a solid damage dealer with some utility, but nothing to write home about. Thankfully for Final Fantasy XIII 2 fans, Null comes back with a rework and a burst weapon later on that will make him a very solid pick, but for now, I think you can safely skip. Remember, Eld and Null on separate banners with their LDs. Next is Strago's Lost Chapter. Strago's Lost Chapter provides him with his level 80 and LD boards. He gets the appropriate boost for a non-elemental damage dealer who can dish out some serious damage and inflict break status. If you already have him, great. If not, I think you can safely skip the old man this time around. Also on that same banner is Ash's LD. Ash is also on the banner. She gets her level 80 and LD. Sadly, Ash is trash. Okay, she's fine. Ash is a Holy and Thunder Party enchanter who imperils enemies with the same element, provides elemental damage up. She also has an interesting mechanic that allows team members to instantly charge their EX, do more damage, and move after her action. That's pretty cool if it wasn't specifically on Ash. Ash fans, as always, will rejoice and tell us how wonderful she is, but I think you can prioritize other characters this month. Now, the final event on the Eldnarsh cycle is a new character event on Roha. Roha is a brand new character from Final Fantasy XI joining the DFFOO cast. She supports the party with healing, brave battery, stat auras, and a unique ability allowing everyone to retain a portion of their brave after HP attacks. Her animations are very nice, and you can craft some very interesting team comps with her. But I think the majority of players are going to be able to live without her and skip. Now again, if you're a big Final Fantasy XI fan, Eldnarsh, Arciela, and Roha, they make a pretty interesting team. So feel free to disagree with me. I'm just trying to save you some resources. That brings us to the Lael cycle, and Lael came with a very crappy event. He got his level 80 and an LDBT for this terrible 6-person co-op event that the Japanese version of the game has never repeated. As I'm recording this prior to the stream, I hope we get something else, but either way, Lael returns with more launches. If you love Squex Airlines and launching, Lael is the next piece of your ongoing launch saga. I'm not really sure what to say besides he does a lot of launches and brings everybody along for the ride. With his 2-week synergy status and potentially a BT favored event, that was the 6-man co-op, he's worth your gems. Also on this banner, on his banner, is Kais, and then on a different banner was Kryl and Celeste. Kais is on the banner with Leo's LD, Kryl and Celeste were on another banner. They should not receive any reworks, but they will all get their blue armor, so that's the only buff they would get. Of course, that's a very limited resource, and you should be using it on older units. You should not be using your blue armor on older units, so I would say, unless you're running Squex Airlines forever, you can skip Kryl, Kais, and Celeste, and likely if you are pulling on Leo and missed out on Kais, you'll be able to pick him up, but none of them really receive any additional boosts. That brings us to the next event, Kurisame's Lost Chapter. Kurisame returns on his Lost Chapter with LD boards, boosting him to viability, not that he hasn't been usable at this point. More interesting is the ability to equip his calls, which not only apply his awesome debuff, but boosts the party's attack, overflow, weakness damage, and enchants them with ice. Kurisame may be one of those few characters worth chasing just for his call ability. So if you don't have him, I'd say throw some tickets his way. Next is, on that same banner, is Cypher's LD, along with Kurisame on the same banner. Cypher gets a new gimmick that is a relationship between his new buff and debuff, allowing him to delay all targets inflicted with his debuff when he attacks. If you like delays, you may not want to miss out on Cypher because they are very consistent across all enemies on the field, but you'll be okay without him. Maybe you pick him up as you're chasing Kurisame. Maybe you already have Kurisame. You would be safe to skip. The final event of the month is Dimensions and Transcendence Tier 3. And another tier of Transcendence brings us another new LD. This time it's Porum. Porum has always been a reliable healer and party supporter, but now she becomes your ultimate party lifeline, making your party very difficult to kill with her Last Stand style LD buff, especially with her follow-up that reduces enemies' brave and batteries the party after her turn. She also increases brave gain when the party is at full health, which can help against future brave gain reductions. Porum has proved her worth in Lufania Plus, the next era of difficulty, and is a great ace up your sleeve. I actually would pick her, as much as I hate her, I would pick her up with gems just to have in case you need her someday. Now, they also got in Japan a triple LDBT banner with Transcendence Tier 3. Again, hopefully we will get this. This brought them Warrior of Light, Sephiroth, and Paladin Cecil. Warrior of Light gets his level 80 and LD boards, Sephiroth gets a rework and LD boards, and Paladin Cecil gets his LD boards. They all get a solid boost. So if you are new and missing them all, this is an amazing banner. If you have 2 out of 3, probably a skip. If you have 1 out of 3, you might consider it. If you have a couple of the LDs and none of the BTs, maybe it's worth throwing some gems at. All of them will get BT pluses at some time in the future, but none of them currently have them, I believe. Maybe Warrior of Light got his. I'd have to go back and check. But they become all viable characters, all good characters to use. So might consider them if you don't have them already, like myself. Well, that's my thought for this month of DFFOO for you and for the general public. Prioritizing gems on Lael and Porum, tickets perhaps on Elnarsh and Kurisame, maybe you already have them both. Maybe pick up Sephiroth, Paladin Cecil, Warrior of Light banner if you don't have any of those. If you already have Elnarsh, Kurisame, Sephiroth, Paladin Cecil, and Warrior of Light, you know, Ash and Iroha are good catches. Cypher's a really good pickup as well if you have some extra resources to throw your way. For me, I pull on everything. I've actually only skipped 1 banner since LDBT, and that was Guy, and I kind of regret it. That doesn't mean I've pulled everything and gotten everything, but I have pulled some resources on almost every banner, and I will likely be using tickets on pretty much everything this month. I don't think I'm actually going to use gems on anything. maybe pour them just to have her in my back pocket. But for the most part, I think I'm just going to try to expend as many tickets as possible this month and try to go down to 0 before Divine Boards in August, and a lot more gem expenditures coming forward. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, share this video with your friends on your Discords, whatever. Watch the podcast every Thursday night. We're going to do some reformatting. We're going to take it in some different directions. We've said goodbye to Crease for now. Mino's going to come back on the show. We're going to just have a lot of fun and maybe do some different things moving forward. Invite you every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time. The Crystal Chronicles on Twitch, at FFTCC Podcast on Twitter and Facebook, and tccpodcast.com for all those links. Until next time, friends, let me know what your plans are, and we'll see you around. Goodbye.